Joking.
Welcome back, and it's time to turn the back. I'll start again. You threw me again. Welcome back, and it's time to turn back the clock to a simpler, if not gentler, time in the game. A time when you could watch a curtain raiser, yell what you wanted, and when you didn't need to mortgage your house just to buy a soggy hot dog. Round 15's had some big moments. Let's take a look at them now, because like Peter Landy calling a wet football a cake of soap ad nauseum, so are the rounds of our lives. Well, it's going to be really interesting this week, Finey, because I've completely forgotten the order I worked out for these clips. So I think we start in 1971, round 15, and the venue is the Junction Oval. Peter McKenna is a Collingwood full forward, but also heartthrob. He's about to kick his second century of goals for the season. Let's have a look at it.
Over at the Junction Oval, Peter McKenna brought up his second successive 100 with this goal against Fitzroy. And then he had to put up with the consequences. McKenna ended the season with 134 goals and a reputation as a singer. His record of Things to Remember sold 7,000 copies.
Here they come. Here they come. The kids are coming on the ground now. McKenna has kicked his 100th goal.
Yes, he had his much vaunted hit single out. What was that single he put out called again?
I always mix it with Lionel Roses, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But the sprint out to the player was fantastic when they kicked 100 goals. Did you ever partake in any on-field shenanigans?
Yeah, in fact I did it at that same ground when Fred Cook kicked his 100th goal in a VFA grand final.
Yeah, I never ran out onto the ground, except I do know a certain St Kilda supporter who ran out for a Tony Lockett 100 goal. On his 99th goal, he jumped the fence. he started early. I don't know whether or not he got fined for it, but yeah, he made about 15 metres on the ground, and we were yelling at him, "It's not his 100th." No, it actually was. The shot for the 100th was a point, just to correct myself.
Our next clip is going to be interesting because I've completely forgotten what it is. How am I going today? It's a Geelong comeback. I'm being guided here. Who's it a Geelong comeback against? I've really got to do these things later in the week, don't I? Let's throw to the action, then we'll talk about it.
Stokes fumbled. They still win it. Duncan, perfect hand pass. Gives Stokes a second chance. Heppel, Chapman with him. Chapman to Pudsey-Adley. Little knock on. Johnson. Just punches an unbelievable goal. For Emery, was it clever or not? We'll find out in a moment. He's got it again. He goes for Davey. Duncan in his path. Davey gets out. Collier again. Monfries. Melksham. Bombers. The Bombers have got to be home now. That's Duncan into the 50 and Johnson. He's got to have a shot, surely. 33 and a quarter minutes gone. And he knows there are seconds left. Got to kick a goal. Kick two in the last quarter already. It's a mighty roost. He's done it. He's kicked a third.
They need to get it inside 50, somehow pull off a mark. Is there time?
Ryder got the tap. Ling has a fresh air, suckered by Chapman, marked by Monfries. It's over. The Bombers are dared to dream tonight, and the dream has turned into a wonderful reality. A win.
I think we're going to rename this segment Dementia of My Life. It wasn't a Geelong comeback. Well, it was a mini comeback, but the story was Essendon. It was 2011, James Hird's first year as coach. The Cats were king of the heap, and Essendon beat them, not without a sizable scare though. And how's that goal from Stevie J, flat on his back?
They're easy to forget. It's an understandable mistake.
No, I'm not happy with that. All right, let's go to number 3 on the list. Now, I reckon you'll remember this one, Finey. The year is 2002. The venue is the SCG. It's the Swans playing Port Adelaide. Port have got their noses in front. There's literally only a minute or so left on the clock. Let's see what unfolds.
Saddington, Hall, can he put it through? Can he win the game? Big bad Barry, take a bow. You would think Port Adelaide would need the takeaway to win. Saddington, Hall,
Can he put it through? Can he win the game? Big bad Barry. Take a bow. You would think Port Adelaide would need the takeaway to win. The bounce. Primus. Sean Burgoyne. Ball falls to Schofield. They get the takeaway. Polton.
And the players around him say, hold it up. And we saw him in the second quarter kick a goal this end. He was about 20 metres out. Very unconvincing.
It has been an unbelievable season for shots after the siren. It has been
And you feel for the kid. You really do.
a monumental season for this kind of climax.
You'd love to be there, wouldn't you?
You'd love to. This is what you dream of.
Step up on the plate, Dermot.
Every kid in the backyard with the big trees lined up with the footy before Mum calls you in for dinner. The shot for goal after the siren to win it. Jared Polton, your time has come. Drop punt. Your time has come.
Good stuff. Pretty ice cool kick under pressure. He's one of those players that Port had who actually was quite serviceable for him, but you've sort of forgotten about him over time.
I used to call, me and my mates called Jared Polton the third Corns because we thought he looked like one of the Corns brothers, and Kane actually kicked it to him.
Yeah.
He really did look like a Corns.
Yeah, and that was, remember before they actually won the flag in 04, they just kept coming close, didn't they? In fact, they topped the ladder 3 years in a row.
Correct.
But, you know, in the end, it was a build-up to a pretty memorable occasion for that footy club. So, well done, Jared Polton. You'll always have that one. Number 2 now. Now, North fans are going to love this one. The year is 1993. Dennis Pagan's taken over as coach. A young key forward called Wayne Carey is starting to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And this is probably the highlight of a season for them almost. So playing Essendon, the Baby Bombers, who are on a big roll. There's a massive Friday night game, this one. And very, very tight at three-quarter time. Well, did the Roos steam home in the last quarter. An 8-goal final term with the King right on top of the throne. Let's have a look at the action.
I just get a feeling about North now, Bruce.
Carried a Longmire.
Lifting again, as we know he is capable of. And Longmire from just inside the 50.
To put North in front. He's done it.
The high flyers are there. Oh, Mark Longmire. He looks like he's going the banana kick. There it is. Oh, I think he's kicked it. Yes. North in front.
North Melbourne have come back quite magnificently. Schwartz's long one. Carey! Again!
Telling Mark.
Showing his championship quality.
Showing his class.
Yep.
A real match winner.
Kick from about 48 metres. Drop punt. That's better. Be top tonight. Top of the table, the Kangaroos. As McAdam chips it away and puts it through.
Great stuff. They were just on fire. I should have said, actually, both John Longmire and Adrian McAdam, that short-lived comet on football's horizon, kicked 6 goals that night. Carey kicked 4. It sort of came to a premature end almost that year for North. They ended up getting thumped by West Coast in the first final out at Waverley, but you knew that there was a pretty good side in the offing that night.
Timely, of course, because there's been détente in the Premiership reunion problems that they had, so the King maybe has the crown back on top after problems in the throne room.
All right, well, let's go to number 1. I don't think we're going to get a more, how should I put it, unorthodox number 1 in our Rounds of Our Lives selections than this one. The year is 1999. The venue is Subiaco. The teams are Fremantle and St Kilda. We've just seen one Carey on fire taking some great marks. Well, here's another Carey taking a mark.
Distance, driving it around the outer side, maybe had the line in mind, didn't get the bounce he needed though. Fletcher, the centering kick, and the mark has been taken by umpire Carey.
That is I've never seen that.
No, never ever seen that.
I have never ever seen that. He actually thought he was a player then. There's no doubt about
he
that.
had a vision.
Carey by name, Carey by nature.
It still makes you wet yourself, doesn't it? Has there been a weirder moment in an AFL football game?
If there has, it would only come in Freo St Kilda games. There's been
that's true.
Siren Gate down in Tasmania.
That's true.
Whispers in the Sky, and then when Ross Lyon went over there, created a new sort of level of friction between the clubs. There is, for some reason, two clubs that you wouldn't have thought had much to do with each other. A very strange history.
Yeah, and the only Carey to take a great mark and then get dropped for it. He actually got dropped for a week for that.
His excuse was the Edmund Hillary because it was there.
Or who among us wouldn't have done the same thing? All right, that's round to our lives for this week.
Stepping out, I will turn you around once.